How are you, friends? Welcome to this new episode. Today we have a testimony that takes us to the roots. In this case, we are going to Patagonia, Argentina, where a family went through a situation that at the very least draws attention and perhaps happens more often than we think. And that the vast majority of people are completely unaware of what is happening. As always, I invite you to my channel, Who Was?, where truly unmissable cases are being presented. At this moment, we are looking at some of the covers of the latest videos. But there are many more, and every Sunday we have a new case to enjoy, so I hope to see you there. Also, as always, I leave you in a pinned comment all the links to my social networks, to my other channels, and also the different ways to support the channel. Remember that if you want to send your experience to the channel, you have to do it in audio format to the WhatsApp that appears on screen at this moment. Neither the quantity nor the duration matters. Yes, please have as many details as possible. And then, if the story is selected, I take care of putting together the corresponding script so that it comes out in video on the Amigos channel. Now let's not waste any more time and start with this new paranormal story. Enjoy it. I would like everyone who hears my story to give me their opinion. Why did it happen this way? Has anyone else experienced something similar? I'm going to tell you something that happened to us in the south, in Patagonia, Argentina, while we were traveling and on the road. First off, I would like to highlight that I am a very logical person. And with this, I mean that always and in any strange situation, I try to figure it out, to understand what happened. That is, I interpret that everything, or at least the vast majority of things, have a coherent and rational explanation. Having clarified this, I also mentioned that that time we were more than surprised with my wife, precisely because I did not find that explanation I always look for. This is something very recent. My wife and I were on a trip through Patagonia, Argentina, and at that moment we were in Calafate, that is, in the province of Santa Cruz. We were there for a few days enjoying the city. We got to know the Perito Moreno glacier, something that really left us speechless because of the beauty at every step you take in this place. It's fascinating. But we had to continue, so one morning we loaded up the van, prepared the mate, and headed towards the capital of Santa Cruz, Rio Gallegos. The distance, if I remember correctly, is about 300 kilometers separating the two cities. Part of this journey is made on the famous Route 40 and then continuing on Route 5 and 3 to finally arrive at Rio Gallegos. The thing is, we had everything ready and we left. It was just a few kilometers after leaving Calafate that a truck got in front of us. It was a silver grey Toyota, like many you see, but the license plate caught our attention. It was the model before the current one, the white and black one, which had 3 letters and 3 numbers, and this one had a striking combination because of how easy it was. And that's exactly what we commented on at the moment as soon as we saw it ahead, ours. Unfortunately today I don't remember exactly what it was like, but to give an example of what I'm talking about, it would be something like AAB 556, very similar to this. The issue was that we were following this vehicle in the same direction, at least in this first stretch. So we kept behind her at a prudent distance because we were going at a good speed and the trip continued normally. We were chatting, listening to music and drinking mate. We had about 4 hours ahead of us to our destination and this van was in front of us the whole time.
Let's try to do, let's say, mirror, as it said, where one car goes ahead and another one follows behind. And I tried not to fall too far behind so as not to lose sight of it, right? At one point I would say that we assumed that the man realized we were behind, and maybe I don't think so, but maybe he realized that our license plate was not. Not being Mercosur, it was easier to distinguish it. He realized that we were not Argentinians, that we were, or well, I don't know if he ever found out that we were Uruguayans, but that we were not Argentinians. And the man, when there was a sharp curve, a speed bump, something on the road, he would put on the hazard lights, right? He would tap the brakes so that we would be cautious, right? Which for us was a great help, honestly, it was a great help. And while we followed that train, I would say for about 4 hours, sometimes closer, sometimes further away.
Thus the 4 hours of travel were completed. We still had a little bit more to go, and the intense wind on the road logically caused a higher fuel consumption. So, taking advantage of the fact that we had a service station nearby, we decided to stop to fill up the tank. We were very close to arriving, and we were sorry to part with this truck because it was a great help to us and we liked the idea of thanking it. But well, there wasn't much more option than to stop. But coincidence, or maybe it was something else, I don't know, they made this van also enter the service station YPF East Yard. Obviously before us because it was ahead, but it didn't go to the pumps, instead it stayed on the side of the mini market of this place. I directly, and not to lose it, park right next to it, get out and approach. I wanted to thank him for the good gesture he had with us, without knowing us and without any obligation. I know this may seem silly, but it's not common for people to help selflessly, and for this reason I felt the need to let him know. When I approach, this man lowers the window just a little bit. I greet him, thank him, and he responds with a smile. And he told me that he helped us because he realized that we were not from the area and that it's a pretty dangerous route. That he has been traveling it for many years and knows it from end to end. That's exactly why he helped us. He was an unremarkable man, not drawing attention to himself for any specific reason. He would be about 60 years old, grey-haired, short hair, shaved, dressed in work clothes, a common guy. I thanked him again, we spoke a few more words and I went to my van to refuel. But before that I let my wife know, who was sitting in the passenger seat, that I was going to go into the mini market to buy something for this man. Some pastries, some kind of receipt, something just as a courtesy. I went in and found croissants, so I grabbed 2 trays, one for us and one for him. I approached the cash register, and there it caught my attention that the girl at the register looked at me and laughed a little. Or rather, she couldn't help making that grimace that gives away a person when they are tempted by something they found amusing. But I imagined it would be something about work or one of her colleagues, so I didn't say anything, paid and left. It was a disappointment to leave and realize that the man in the van had left. He was not there. I looked everywhere, I checked the pumps because maybe he was refueling, but no, he was no longer there. I asked my wife, but she was on the phone, so she didn't notice when he left. In fact, she hadn't even realized. I then went to ask one of the girls who was at the pumps. She was there the whole time and no other vehicle had arrived in those minutes. So she was perhaps the one who might have seen him, or why not? Maybe she knew him. And there I really got a big surprise.
I go out and ask the gas station attendant, I say, look at a grey truck that was there next to it, and she says, no. You guys only stopped right in front of us, but next to us, a grey Toyota stopped. I was talking to him and he was laughing. The woman tells me, you didn't talk to anyone, you got down and there was no van, it was just you guys. No, I was talking to a gentleman, a veteran. I tell him like this, I tell you more. I was almost 4 hours behind that van, I tell him. And he went in and I went in too. He told me it was a pretty dangerous, desolate route, that there could be animals, etc., etc. I told him everything so he wouldn't think I was a fool. And the woman laughed and called out saying, come here, so and so. Another companion from the track says, isn't it true that the man came down and was talking to himself? And the boy from the track says, yes, we even said no, he arrived at noon and he's already in this state. Talking to myself, I say, no, I wasn't talking to myself, and I started to worry. And my lady who was listening because the door was open says, no, we were following a van like this. And the gas station attendant tells me, no, you got out and talked to yourself and gestured with something we assume. The man tells me that you must have had an earpiece in and were talking on the phone. I insisted I was behind a van, saying no, not at all. I tell him it was an older Toyota model, not the latest one, but the previous generation. And he tells me, no, there was nothing next to it. And I couldn't believe it until the man tells me, come on, let's go to the back and I'm gonna see if they let you see the cameras. But right away, we both got off and went to the back. With this man, we entered an office. We explained the situation to the person who was in the office, who I suppose was a manager. And kind of like saying, these people are wasting my time, with little enthusiasm. He shows us a monitor, sets up the cameras, steps back, and there we are left aside. Indeed, we were talking. I was talking. On air. I saw the van. We remembered that the license plate was easy. Unfortunately, I don't remember the number of the van to look for it. It was all very strange, very uncomfortable, I would say, because behind whom we came almost 4 hours, that veteran man, gray-haired, quite combed, neat, dressed like any of us, who was where I saw him. My lady saw him and I saw him because we stopped next to him. I don't know if you have any similar story on the channel. We didn't feel anything strange. We didn't feel anything. On the contrary, it was a totally helpful gesture that facilitated us, made our route more enjoyable. But why that person or that entity or whatever you want to call it? Because for me, everything was normal. I've had other cases where you realize it's purely paranormal, but in this case, everything was normal. And I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you what happened or why it happened to us. If we were traveling, we were just passing through and nobody knew us.
This experience left us more than astonished, knowing that we wouldn't have found out about this if it weren't for stopping at that moment and at this service station. As I told you, I'm a person who looks for logic in everything, and at that moment I realized there was no answer. Could it be a traveler who lost his life on this road and has since been helping other people? Could it be an angel who wanted to protect us from something? I don't know, but I repeat, and as I said at the beginning, I would like to hear the opinion of other people. Analyzing this perhaps from a slightly less structured, less rational side and looking for other types of answers.
Honestly, I don't know if anyone from your channel's community can help us, can comment. I'm unsure if it occurred to others on that road specifically. Honestly, many of us love to travel in the south. Many. We love the south. We go in winter, in summer, in spring. We love it. And the truth is that this time we were left. Some other things have happened to us on the road, but this time with this, we were totally disconcerted because no one saw it coming.
Thank you very much for arriving. In the end, I would like to know what you think about it, especially what happened to this couple on Road 3 in the province of Santa Cruz. See you in a few days, and as always, I send a big hug to everyone.